Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about another upcoming major snowstorm. This one's actually going to be more for the central United States. I'm very excited to talk about this one because a lot of people that have been struggling to get snowfall this winter are finally looking to get some of that potentially with this snowstorm. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do think weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think this snowstorm will happen? And if so, where do you think it'll impact? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and we're starting out with our European model, as always. And as you can see, we're starting to take a look at that snowstorm for the Northeast moving out. It was a very major one. We saw New York City get nearly 20 inches of snow, if not over 20 inches of snow. We had a corridor of that 20 inches plus just as we forecasted. I feel very good about our forecast for that storm. So let's go ahead and move on towards where our next major snowstorm is going to start to move in, and that's going to be very, very early on the morning of Thursday, February 4th. So we're only about 2 days away from the very beginning of this one. We have a 996 millibar low pressure center there in between Oklahoma and Kansas, with some moderate to heavy snowfall going on for Colorado, Nebraska as well there. As we move on towards about 3 p.m. there on Thursday, February 4th, you can see we zoom in here to the Ohio Valley. And you can see we do have that moderate to heavy snowfall going on there for Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, northern Illinois, potentially northern Indiana as well, with this very classic snowstorm moving into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Ohio Valley. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on towards the very tail end of this storm on that model. Then we're going to move on towards our GFS model and eventually even our Canadian model. All of that is coming up soon. All right, now here we are taking a look at about, I would say this is approximately about 4 a.m. there on Friday, February 5th. And as you can see, we have some moderate snowfall going on for Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan there, both peninsulas actually. We have that low pressure center over the very, very middle of the lower peninsula of Michigan. There's a 986 millibar low pressure center. Some heavy snowfall surrounding that one. We do have some snowfall going on for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York potentially as well. So let's move on to that eastern front of this storm. And by the time we're taking a look at the afternoon hours of Friday, February 5th, there could be some lingering snowfall there for the Northeast as well. Now, we're going to be making a Patreon post about a snowstorm, and that's going to be this one, a potential southern slider going on around Sunday, potentially even a nor'easter. So we're going to be taking a look at another potential East Coast snowstorm by the time we're reaching the weekend. As very, very cold air moves in behind it there, we're going to have frigid air for the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley as well as the Great Lakes. I'm going to need to make a video about that as well. Potentially the polar vortex is going to make an entry there into the United States. We'll need to watch that closely. You can see the storm eventually, by the time we're reaching early on Monday, does move up into New England, becoming a very strong 973 millibar low pressure center there, bringing very heavy snowfall to surrounding regions. That one could be a very major snowstorm. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, take a look at the GFS model, and then again, eventually that Canadian model, and then the total snowfall forecast according to all of these. All right, now here we are taking a look at the GFS model, and as you can see, we have that low pressure center located over Kansas with some snow showers, some rain showers, and even some mixed showers up there for the upper Midwest. But by the time we reach about 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. there on Thursday, February 4th, you can see that we do get moderate to heavy snowfall going on for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley. This model is a little bit further north with it. We're going to be needing to watch that closely. There is some disagreement still to this point with this storm on the models, which obviously doesn't necessarily increase my confidence, let's put it that way. But we're going to watch for these models to really come together on what they expect this storm to do over the coming days. All right, now as you can see, by the time we're reaching the afternoon hours of Friday, February 5th, we do have some snow showers, probably lake effect enhanced by this point going on for the Great Lakes regions there. Let's move on to that Canadian model. We have a low pressure center located over Kansas. All of these models have had that, with those snow showers, mixed showers, and rain showers for the upper Midwest. This storm does move up to where we see snowfall going on for northern Illinois, northern Indiana, portions of Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, both peninsulas of Michigan again as well, and portions of Ohio included in that as well. By the time we reach about kind of the morning hour there of very, very early morning hour of Friday, February 5th, you can see we do have that snowfall lingering for the Great Lakes regions. Again, probably lake effect enhanced there. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the total snowfall maps according to all of these models. Our European model, our GFS model, the Canadian model, and then we're going to move on and take a look at the upcoming pattern a little bit. I want to talk to you guys about that major Arctic blast that could be making its way into the United States a little bit. Also talk about a few more snow opportunities we might have, and then we're going to close out the video. All right, now here we are taking a look at our European model, and as you can see, this one does have a major snowstorm, 1 foot plus expected for Wisconsin, both peninsulas of Michigan potentially as well. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're expecting a dusting, if anything. In the lighter blues, we're taking a look at about 2 to 6 inches of snow. In those purple shades, about 6 to 10. In the pinks, 10 to maybe 20. And that's pretty much where we max out. So I'm taking a look at about a maximum snowfall amount here of probably 15 inches there for the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. That might end up being more as we move forward. These models do have a tendency to sometimes show a more major storm as time moves on, or less major, so we're going to be watching that closely. But either way, we're expecting widespread 10 inches plus to be possible. Let's move on to that GFS model, and the only difference here is that we have pretty consistent areas of 12 to 15 inches of snow, and then even 20 inches plus there for both peninsulas of Michigan. One there for the northern tip of the southern peninsula, and then one there also for the northwestern regions there of the northern peninsula, or the upper peninsula. So the GFS just has more snowfall with this one overall. The Canadian model has the least amount of snowfall. It does have plenty of those purples, which is that 6 to 10 inches. But as far as the 10 inches plus, it has some very limited amounts of that for both peninsulas of Michigan, kind of the very northern side of the upper peninsula, and the very western side of that lower peninsula there. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at that upcoming pattern. We have a big Arctic blast that we're expecting later on this week into early next week, and then also we're going to take a very big look at some potential snowstorms that are going to come alongside that. All of that is coming up in just a moment. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a 10-day temperature anomaly forecast. So this is absolutely insane, guys. This is for the 2nd of February, today, through the 12th of February. And if you're anywhere in those blues, you're looking at about a degree to 10 degrees below average, which is already pretty far below average, especially if you're in those darker blues. That takes up most of the United States, at least at this point. Only northern New England and then the southwestern United States has above average temperature anomalies at this point. If you're anywhere in the greens, you're 10 to 15 degrees below average Fahrenheit. So let's say your average temperature is 60 degrees. Well, you're much lower than that. You're taking a look at about 45 degrees at that point if you're 15 degrees below normal. So that's a significant jump. And then if we're taking a look at those kind of purplish blues there, you can see some of that for the Ohio Valley and the Midwest as well. That's where you're 15 to 30 degrees below normal. So you're definitely looking at a significant departure from normal there compared to your normal temperatures. For a 10-day period, that is insane, guys. I want you to know how abnormal that is. For a 10-day period, we could be looking at a very big cool down. That was the Canadian model. As we take a look at that European model, we see major agreement here. They both have significantly below normal temperatures for that 10-day period. The European model is a little bit further north with it and a little bit further east as well. And a little bit less potent with it, but we still have plenty of those greens, which is 10 to 15 degrees below normal. And for Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, we do have plenty of those 15 to 30 degree below normal areas, which again is still pretty significant. Let's take a look at some of those snowstorm chances real quick. The GFS has that Sunday system just sliding away innocently to the south. Really not much of an event, but you can tell that that cold air has already made its way in by this point. A significant cold air up there to the north. The GFS model, by the time we're reaching Thursday the 11th, does have another snow opportunity, kind of a southern slider. I mentioned in my February forecast that I made yesterday, I think the southern sliders will remain possible throughout the month of February. Here's another one by early on the 13th, and then another one by the 15th. So there's multiple southern sliders possible at this point with that very potent cold air. As you might know by this point, when you have very potent cold air over your region, usually the snowfall slides further to your south. So if we have very potent cold air to the north, that's going to allow that snowfall to go much further south than the northern United States, and that's what's going to make that southern snowfall possible. And I do expect that in the first half of February, we could have a southern slider or two or more during that first half of the month. Anyway, my confidence tab for this snowstorm we talked about throughout most of this video is a 2 out of 6 at this point. We have major disagreement on the models. Hopefully we get upgraded to a 3 or a 4 by tomorrow where we can feel pretty good about what we're saying. But at this point, we have a long way to go on the confidence tab. There is still that major disagreement at this point. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how do you expect this February to go? And Weather God said, February is going to be more active and a lot cooler is what I'm expecting. And I do expect a lot of that, as you just saw in our upcoming pattern portion of this video we just made. At least the first half of February is looking very cold and quite active as well. So unless that second half is absolutely awful, it's looking like February is going to be pretty darn good if you ask me. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Bembenek, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Cherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Alicia Davis, Mark J, Luke Flago, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be on this patron end screen today, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.